Now we're talking about the election. She, like many other celebrities after this election, decided to make her personal politics known. She wanted to launch an attack on not only Donald Trump, but his supporters. And she did so publicly on her Instagram story, and today we're going to read the statement.
Hi, this is Eileen, and today we're diving into the roller coaster saga of Disney's live-action Snow White. What was meant to be a bold reimagining of a timeless classic quickly spiraled into chaos. From Rachel Zegler's polarizing political comments to the uproar over replacing the Seven Dwarfs with a diverse cast, this film seemed to spark outrage at every turn. As production costs skyrocketed and the fan base turned its back, Disney was left with no choice but to pull the plug on the project. So, how did a tale of magic and wonder transform into one of Disney's most divisive failures? The controversy surrounding Snow White highlights a growing disconnect between Disney's modern vision and the expectations of its longtime fans. Instead of celebrating the original story, the film became a flashpoint for heated debates about political correctness, diversity, and Disney's shifting identity. Stay tuned as we unpack the highs, lows, and lessons learned from this high-stakes misstep. When Disney cast Rachel Zegler as Snow White, they made a daring and bold move. Zegler, known for her outspoken opinions, was anything but the traditional safe choice for a role so deeply tied to nostalgia. From the very beginning, fans were split. Some were eager to see a fresh, modern take on the classic character, but many of Disney's loyal followers couldn't shake their unease. Where exactly was the studio heading with this reimagining of such an iconic figure?
Oh, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story, with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Rachel Zegler didn't do herself or the film any favors with her comments about the original Snow White, a film many consider the cornerstone of Disney's legacy. She dismissed the classic as outdated, called the prince a creepy stalker, and claimed that modern women no longer wanted the kind of romance the story portrayed. For countless fans, this wasn't just a critique of the film's themes. It felt like a direct attack on a piece of cinematic history. To many, it seemed like Zegler wasn't simply reinterpreting the role, but outright dismissing its importance. For lifelong fans who grew up cherishing the original Snow White, the remarks felt like a deep betrayal.
There's dwarf actors that live, that dream to be in a major motion picture such as this Disney remake. And now, because Peter Dinklage said what he said last year, now it's taken away.
The controversy took another turn when Disney decided to replace the iconic Seven Dwarfs with a group of diverse magical creatures. This move, reportedly influenced by actor Peter Dinklage's critique of how dwarfs are portrayed in films, was meant to sidestep stereotypes. But instead of applause, it sparked even more backlash. Dwarf actors voiced their disappointment, seeing it as a missed opportunity for true representation. Longtime fans were equally baffled. The Seven Dwarfs weren't just side characters, they were the heart and soul of the story's charm. Replacing them felt like Disney was rewriting the essence of Snow White, leaving many fans disillusioned and questioning the studio's decisions.
Seems to me have really suffered in all this are the 6 dwarf actors who would have expected to have roles in this remake in a massive Hollywood blockbuster, who are now not going to have that experience, all the money, all the fame that may have come.
The backlash on social media was swift and brutal. Fans accused Disney of sacrificing the story's magic in favor of pandering to political correctness. Instead of honoring the beloved fairy tale, the remake became a lightning rod for debates about Hollywood's struggle to balance diversity with authenticity. What Disney seemed to miss was the core reason fans love Snow White. It's not about social commentary. Audiences come for the timeless charm, the magic, and the nostalgia of the original. By focusing too heavily on modern sensibilities, the remake risked alienating the very fans it was trying to win over.
Fail us in forging a new path forward. This loss should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. They Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace.
Rachel Zegler's fiery personality didn't stop at critiquing the original Snow White. Her controversial political comments about Donald Trump and his supporters took the chaos to another level. In a heated Instagram meltdown following the presidential elections, Ziegler didn't hold back, writing, "Fought Donald Trump," and calling his supporters pitiful disappointments, even going so far as to say, "I find myself speechless. Another 4 years of hatred is leading us toward a world I do not want to live in." The backlash was swift and unrelenting. Social media erupted with criticism, particularly from Trump supporters who felt insulted and alienated. Many vowed to boycott the film outright, citing Ziegler's harsh tone as unnecessary and divisive. The timing couldn't have been worse. With tensions already running high, her words turned Snow White from a magical remake into a lightning rod for political controversy. What should have been a story of fantasy and charm quickly spiraled into a battleground for public debate. Fans were no longer discussing the film's visuals or narrative. Instead, the focus was on Ziegler's remarks and their fallout. To make matters worse, when the official trailer dropped, it faced heavy criticism for being woke, with many accusing Disney of losing sight of what fans truly wanted, a faithful retelling of the beloved classic. Ziegler's decision to dive headfirst into controversy has made Snow White one of Disney's most polarizing projects to date, leaving fans and critics wondering if the company can recover from the storm. Instead of celebrating the timeless magic of Snow White, Disney's live-action remake found itself swept up in broader cultural debates. The film's marketing suffered a major blow when Rachel Zegler's controversial comments, both political and about the original movie, ignited a firestorm of backlash. Although she eventually apologized, the damage was done. Fans felt the story's essence had been overshadowed by divisive rhetoric. The controversy also highlighted Disney's inconsistent handling of its stars. Critics pointed out the double standard. Gina Carano was fired from The Mandalorian for far less inflammatory remarks, while Ziegler remained in her role despite her polarizing statements. This selective enforcement raised questions about Disney's values, fueling frustration among fans who viewed the studio's actions as hypocritical. Putting the film's lead actress at the center of controversy alienated a significant portion of the audience and painted Snow White as more of a political battleground than a beloved fairy tale. Adding to the chaos, production delays, reshoots, and skyrocketing costs turned the remake into a financial quagmire. The budget reportedly ballooned into the hundreds of millions, amplifying the perception that Disney had lost control of the project. The studio's attempt to modernize Snow White with a new narrative, one focused on independence and leadership, rather than romance, further divided fans. While some appreciated the fresh take, others felt it strayed too far from the original's charm. Ultimately, Disney's costly effort to salvage the film couldn't rekindle fan enthusiasm. What began as a bold reimagining of a classic spiraled into one of the studio's most expensive and divisive ventures, leaving a once magical tale shrouded in controversy. Fans were left disillusioned as leaked clips from Disney's live action. Snow White hinted at a hyper-modernized version of the beloved fairy tale. Critics labeled it a feminist fever dream, and the film's direction seemed barely recognizable to those who had grown up cherishing the original. Excitement turned to skepticism, especially as repeated delays pushed the release date to 2025, raising doubts about Disney's ability to salvage the project. The backlash against the film was relentless. Fans were outraged by the removal of the iconic Seven Dwarfs, Ziegler's dismissive comments about the original story, and the perceived abandonment of the film's nostalgic charm. Ziegler's attitude, paired with her controversial political remarks, only deepened the divide, as she appeared to criticize the very essence of the role she was cast to embody, with production costs soaring and positive. Buzz nowhere in sight, Snow White turned into a financial and public relations nightmare for Disney. The controversy surrounding Ziegler's political statements and Disney's inconsistent handling of controversial figures added fuel to the fire. Fans were quick to compare Ziegler's treatment to Gina Carano's firing from The Mandalorian, questioning the studio's values and priorities. In attempting to modernize a timeless classic, Disney inadvertently alienated its core audience. Snow White became a cautionary tale, symbolizing the growing disconnect between Disney's evolving identity and the expectations of loyal fans. The studio's emphasis on political correctness over storytelling left many questioning whether the magic of the past can truly coexist with the demands of the modern era. This debacle serves as a stark reminder that balancing nostalgia with Progress is a delicate art, one that Disney failed to master with this film. The fallout from Snow White will undoubtedly shape the studio's approach to future reboots and remakes, as fans begin to wonder if the timeless charm of Disney's classics can endure in an ever-changing cultural landscape.